All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday morning here. It's pretty chilly out here in Wisconsin. Well, anyways, I know a lot of you guys were anticipating for what the weekly analysis for this week is. And so I'm going to dive down here, give you a little quick review of what I see for this upcoming week. And there are some events that you have to pay attention to for the upcoming week here. So there's a lot of political events that are going to spark up the US, the UK, the EU. So if you don't know, I would recommend you reading up on those Forex news websites. But let's dive into here. And like I said, I always start with the weekly chart. You always got to, well, for me, I always look at the weekly chart because I'm looking at where the candle is closing at. Very, very, I like this candle here. Okay. To me, I call it a spinning top. That's what they call it. I'm looking for it to signal back down, to reverse back down here. Okay. Reason being is because I was looking for US dollar to keep pushing and close above 97. That means that it's going to push even higher. So I'm looking for it to pull back down as a retracement candle for this week. So what I'm looking for is to close as a bearish candle, either like this one or like this one of these candles here. If it does engulf like this one, previous one, then expecting it to come back down here, 94, and then we'll see if it bounces off from 94. Overall, the US dollar is still in a strong uptrend. Remember that. It's still in a bull run. Gold. Very interesting candle here to see this. You can see the long wick. So I'm looking to buy gold back to 1250 and maybe 1260. If not, then gold might just hover around 1240 and 1232 here for the whole week. So you just gotta be very careful where gold's gonna sit at for this week. Gold could just be ranging from 1230 to 1240. Remember that. If it actually does break to 1240, then you're looking for a bull run to 1250 and 1260. Don't get too excited because of gold's movements. You're gonna get caught up if you get in on this. Australia. So Australia and New Zealand were the ones that what I expected to be a bull candle engulfed the previous structure here. So I'm looking for them to retrace back up. I'm looking for Australia to come back to 73 cents. And then we'll see if it pushes for 74 cents by the end of the week. Due to the fact that this was a massive bullish engulfing candle on top of these previous weekly candles back in October here. Because I wanna reiterate, I wanna re-explain this. Those of you that look at monthly charts or weekly charts, is that your weekly charts, you get 4 weekly candles in a month. So there's a little tip here for those of you that are actually been watching my weekly analysis video. So if this is our new weekly for November, right? And the new monthly candles are even started. I'll even talk about that too. So this can be a little bit more extensive. This is engulfing. This is the last week of October, engulfing over 1, 2, 3. All right. And this was the start of October. All right. So this was the big bear candle going down, and then now it's going back up. So you can see a cycle. So within the last week of October, you can see where things are starting to shift. All right, so you can see it's going down. Now it wants to come back up. We're in the last 2 months. We're in the very last 2 months of this year. We're already into November already. So you have to be prepared to remember what I saw last year and up in the previous years, that the US dollar faces very difficult pressure of being on a selling mode versus being on a buying mode. So if the dollar is going to be a sell for the rest of the 2 months here by the end of the year, then eventually the dollar is going to pick itself back up. before tax season or during tax season. So something to be mindful of and pay attention to. The reason being why I pay attention to 4 seasons because here where I live is you have 4 seasons. So and you have 4 weeks in a month. So you break it down every single week, every single I don't want you to be breaking down every single day unless you really want to dive in every single day. But to notice that your weekly candle is build your monthly candle, and then your monthly candle is going to start trying to pinpoint where it's going to try and reverse. So very important aspect here. But this is just something that how I analyze it. So back to, okay, so I was talking about Australia already. New Zealand, the Kiwi. So notice this engulfed the previous candle, and it's a bull candle. I'm expecting to break 67 cents, this structure here, break this resistance structure, and then come target this resistance, 68 cents on the weekly. You have to remember that all the Aussie and the Kiwi dollar has been going up a lot more than versus the euro and the pound. Euro USD. So what I said about the spinning top, closing down like a spinning top like this on the volatility signifies it's going to reverse back up. I'm looking for it to come back to 115. From 115, maybe 116. And then from there, we'll see if it bounces back down or if it tries to shoot for this 117.5, 118 price. It needs to break this structure. Without this structure being broken, we won't see this for a while. We won't see the 124, 125 price for a while. That's just my quick analysis on Euro USD on the weekly chart here. The pound. Even though this bull candle did not engulf over the previous bearish candle, I'm still expecting for it to come back to 131. Okay, 131. And then it's going to get really tricky once it comes to 132 and 133. Reason being because there was a lot of wicks here between that price. So there was a lot of rejections at 132 and it couldn't even come back to 133 to close above 133. So if that's the case, it needs to break 133, close above, and then we could see a massive uptrend back to 142. So something to pay attention to. Every structure gives you a clue where prices has been rejected and what prices you need to pay attention to once it gets there, especially on the downtrend and on an uptrend. Don't just hop in and then hoping for it to come back to the same price. You gotta be careful when it gets rejected again. USD JPY is still on an uptrend. This has been a really tricky period to work with. I'm not gonna lie about it. They send it down back to 112 here. A massive bull candle coming back. This is already engulfing over the previous 2 weekly candles here. So we're in the month of November, looking for it to come back to break 114, come back to 114.5 off this wick, and then we'll see if it actually comes for 115. USD JPY might be the only US dollar pair, the one that's not really gonna correlate with the US dollar. All the other pairs like USD Swiss franc, USD CAD, there's some other USD pairs, but USD CAD and USD Swiss franc follows the US dollar more versus USD JPY. USD Swiss franc, let's talk about this. It finally broke $1. It went all the way up to almost $1.01. And what I'm looking for is to do a little bit of pullback going back down, maybe back down to $1 or a little bit under $1 right around here, and then probably shoot back up. Reason being is because USD Swiss franc structure here is very, very tight on the weekly. If you were to zoom back out on USD Swiss franc's weekly chart, it's been sitting here. It's been sitting here for a while. So that's why it gets tricky. The best time to buy was here. And another good time to buy was here. So 93 cents to 96 cents, right? That's a 3-cent gap. And then this is where it did the initial push back to $1. That's a 4-cent gain. So from here, you have to look at this structure. It might just end up sitting here for a while. Again, you have to remember that if you look at the monthly chart on USD Swiss franc, that it's been down since 2000. That in the year 2000 and 2002, it's been at the highest price, $1.80, right? And it's down, and it's still down at $1. So eventually, it's going to curve back up. Those that actually see this, but I see it. So you have to wait for it to ultimately turn itself back around. There are some major events going on with the Swiss SNB, the Swiss National Bank, and there are some political issues going on with Switzerland. So whatever is going to happen there is going to cause this to do a major uptrend back up against Swiss franc. And that's what I'm seeing right now. You might see a selling opportunity because it's been creating a lot of resistance, right? It's creating a lot of resistance here, right? If you were to just zoom in, you're looking at, oh yeah, I see a lot of resistance here. A lot of resistance here doesn't mean anything. If you look at the overall structure, you were to look at overall structure back in 1994 and all the way up to 2018. This was the highest price, this was the lowest price. So if you look at the highest price and compare it to the lowest price, guess what? It's been closer to the lowest price. So eventually it's going to curve and shoot back up. Something to pay attention to for long term, for longevity. If you don't see that, that's fine. I mean, some people have their different opinions, but that's my opinion. And that's what I'm seeing based on price. Okay, based on this monthly chart here for USD Swiss franc. Let's get back to the weekly chart here. Like I said, USD Swiss franc might end up just consolidating here for a bit for this whole week. So you gotta be very careful because of this narrow, tight price range here. USD CAD looks like another spinning top, running out of steam again. USD CAD can't really make its decision, but overall, I probably would end up selling USD CAD, going down back to 130. Reason being, USD CAD has been acting on its own because Canada would have a good day with oil prices or a good day with political issues, and then all of a sudden the next day Canada has something bad going on in their country. Could be bad oil prices, or it could be their trade act with Trump. So this pair has been so volatile against with Canada on their news events. So this is something to pay attention to. If you let's just say, like, if you were buying USD Swiss franc, USD JPY, and you're trying to buy USD CAD, but USD CAD is going the other way, now you have to look at it and say, okay, you're better off selling it. So if USD CAD does not come back to break 132 and 133, I mean, it hasn't even decided to come back up here. It's been rejected. 1 wick, 2, 3. It's been rejected at 132 here quite a bit. You can see if we were just to outline 132, where these candles have been sitting at. So a few have been sitting down here. So we might see another set of consolidation until we see some kind of structure breaking out. So like I said, USD CAD, USD Swiss franc, that structure is going to be very, very tight and narrow until you see a massive breakout. And then the weekly candle needs to close outside of that zone. So what I'm drawing you is showing you guys that this is what you have to pay attention to if you're trying to swing on a trend. So you have to be very careful what's going to go on for this week. We might end up just having nothing going on, and the pairs don't do anything this week. So there was a lot of activity last week. That doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of activity this week. There's going to be some days, which I'm looking at would be Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe a little bit on Friday, but probably Wednesdays and Thursdays we'll probably see a little more market reaction and market volatility versus Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays and Tuesdays you'll probably see more action during the overlap of London, New York, and then that's probably it. And so other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Like I said, yeah, like I said, I'm expecting to sell the dollar for the retracement candle based on this candlestick, and then that's it. Have a great week, guys. That's it. That's all I got for you guys.